Hello, my friends. I hope you're having a lovely day. And sometimes I feel like the powers that be are working against me, and sometimes I feel that they're working for me. Today was both of those instances. So, usually I finish up work on Go Nintendo around 7 in the morning and I go to bed. I get 5 hours of sleep and do it all over again. Today, for multiple reasons, I was up much later than usual. I was like, oh my god, please just let me go to bed. And right as I was about to finish up, the news of the Switch Lite came out. And I was like, I am equally angry and happy because I almost went to bed and missed that announcement. Plus, I was very tired. But I fought through it, got all the information out there. Thank you to all those of you who checked it out over on the site and Twitter and Facebook and all that jazz. I appreciate it. So yeah, Switch Lite, not a rumor anymore. It's the real deal. It's coming out September 20th. It's $200, and as you can expect, some people love it and some people hate it because on the internet there's no in between. So I figured why not do a bit of a hot take. Hopefully I can do a level-headed approach on the whole matter and share my thoughts on what I think of the Switch Lite. First things first, of the two rumors of a Switch Lite and a Switch whatever, more powerful, XL, whatever, the Switch Lite was certainly the one that had a lot more evidence behind it, and here it is, so it's confirmed. Second thing is, according to Nintendo and what they're saying in interviews, if they're being open and honest, a Switch Lite makes a ton of sense because Nintendo knows how players are playing the Switch, so they know if you're playing docked or they know if you're playing handheld. And according to them, they have a lot of data that points to people playing handheld. So if you had that information and you know a lot of people play that way, and you can make a redesign of your platform and make it cheaper and cater to those people who play portable, then why the hell not? Because if there is an audience that already owns a Switch that likes to play portable, some of that audience might buy the Switch again just for the portability, trade in what they have and get the new version. And also you would think there's a whole audience out there that would be very well served by a portable only Switch. So as far as that goes, Nintendo's reasoning is sound. They have the data that convinced them to do this, and we don't have any data to dispute that, so I have to agree with them on that. Now, as far as looks go, the Switch Lite isn't too terribly different from the Switch. Yes, there are some noticeable changes, just visually I'm talking about, but it's not like a wild reimagining or anything like that. If you look back to, say, the original DS to the DS Lite, that was a considerable revamp. You had a much sleeker, much different looking piece of hardware that people really, really liked. Switch to Switch Lite is different, but not crazy in any way, shape, or form. It's certainly sleeker looking. It's obviously smaller and slimmer because of the goals of it being a Switch Lite, but overall looks, I feel like for the most part, if you were into how the Switch itself looked, then you're going to be fine with what the Switch Lite looks like. I know some people aren't too crazy about the color options because they are, I always love different crazy color options, and these aren't perhaps the most unique colors, or not unique, but the colors you might expect Nintendo to go for right off the bat. They're going for a little bit of a different approach. They're almost like pastel minus the gray version, so the gray is going to be the default for a lot of traditional Switch owners, I would imagine, that want to jump over, but those other pastelish colors, I like them, but I can understand people being like, why isn't there red? Why isn't there blue? That'll happen down the road, but this is what we get now. And again, Nintendo doesn't just like pull colors out of a hat. They're like, well, we picked purple and we picked orange, and that's what we're going with. They have data and all kinds of surveys and stuff that leads them to believe that these colors are a good choice. Like I said, for me, it really doesn't matter. I've never cared about colors of platforms. A color of a platform never stopped me from buying it. When I bought my GameCube, I will never forget. I had one pre-ordered. I went to GameStop on launch night, and the guy behind the counter was like, I'm so sorry. All we have left is the purple GameCube. And I was like, okay, I don't care. Give it to me. And he's like, really? Are you sure? I said, yeah, and he says, oh, there's a lot of people who are really upset about it and wouldn't buy it. I was like, well, I am not one of those people. I just want to play the damn game. So, yeah, Switch Lite colors, fine by me, but I do understand those who are looking for something maybe a little bit more vibrant or primary with the colors. Now let's get into the real nitty-gritty here with changes. We have an exhaustive list of all the changes between the original Switch and the Switch Lite, which I will read you sort of quickly. The Joy-Cons are part of the system and can't be removed. It is handheld mode only. It will play Switch games that support handheld mode. For games that do not support handheld mode, players can wirelessly connect compatible controllers. Does not include HD Rumble or IR motion camera, but does retain motion controls. The left-hand controller features a full-on D-pad versus the buttons that are on a left Joy-Con right now. Not compatible with a Switch dock, does not support output to TV, does not come with a dock, HDMI cable, or kickstand, no auto brightness sensor, and then there's the stuff like it's lighter, it has a smaller screen, and it has somewhat better battery life. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, this is a $200 device versus the normal $300 for Switch, so obviously there has to be some concessions made, and it makes sense for those concessions to come into play if you're going for a portable, focused platform, because there's going to be things you'll remove that just wouldn't make sense there. For me personally, this product isn't really for me. I think it looks really nice. I think it looks like it's going to cater to a very important part of the audience, but I'm really not a portable player. I should say I'm not a portable Switch player. I've owned every Nintendo portable. I play portables in general, Sony, Nintendo, whoever makes them. But given the choice between playing on a TV or playing portable, I will always go TV. I just like playing on the TV better. So when it comes to the Switch, I can count the number of times on one hand where I've sat down and played a game portably by choice. I just always play on TV. So yeah, this isn't aimed at me, and it doesn't have to be. It's for a different market that's out there, and apparently a large part of the market. So I can understand why some of these concessions were made, and it gets the price down. While the Switch Lite isn't for me personally, I can still point out a few areas that make me sad to see. Things like the removal of HD Rumble and the IR motion camera. Now, developers really haven't used HD Rumble. Nintendo has, but outside of Nintendo, the use of HD Rumble is very few and far between. It'd be interesting to see how many games out there actually utilize HD Rumble for something beyond what regular Rumble does, and how many people how many developers just use HD Rumble for regular old Rumble. And obviously that number is far, far, far fewer than the IR motion camera. Nintendo's used it. Has anybody else used it? I don't know. And even Nintendo's uses of it are very few and far between. So it makes me sad to see the IR motion camera removed, because it signifies that I guess Nintendo really isn't gonna use it too much going forward. Not that they were using it a lot now. It makes me sad, but I understand it. Now, HD Rumble, the support was a little bit better. Well, I would say, you know, sizably better, but still not good by any means. As I said, a lot of developers just ignore it, and I really like HD Rumble. I'm really happy when I see developers supporting that, but with this Switch Lite, and the feature not being in there, then I guess developers really are going to have no reason to support HD Rumble at all. If they weren't doing it already, they're certainly not going to do it now. And developers that want to reach the audiences of Switch and Switch Lite are going to take the extra time to program in HD Rumble, because they don't need to. I don't want to say half, but a portion of the audience isn't going to experience those features anyway, so why waste time doing it? I also feel the Switch Lite betrays the Switch name a little bit. You know, I feel the Switch is all about switching up how you play. Drop it in the dock, take it out, play tabletop, take it and play portable, slide off the Joy-Cons and play local co-op or free, you know, two-handed free play or whatever. You switch the different way you play. That's why the name of the system is Switch. The Switch Lite is still called Switch, but you don't have any of those options. It really makes me sad. Obviously, it plays all the Switch games, or almost all of the Switch games, any Switch game that at least supports handheld, which is, you know, the vast, vast, vast majority. But it's not really a Switch in functionality, so I understand why they had to go with the name. They don't want to confuse people, but it just makes me sad. It's an important part of the audience, and the Switch's mechanics are important to what the Switch was and what the Switch did when it first launched, and I really don't want Nintendo to lose sight of that going forward. The one big plus that I think everyone can agree on is the Switch Lite having a traditional D-pad on the left-hand side controller rather than the face buttons that are on the left Joy-Con right now. I don't know if I'm still supposed to call it a Joy-Con or not on the Switch Lite, but that's why I'm switching between controller and Joy-Con. countless Switch owners have said, please give me a left Joy-Con with a D-pad. That's what I want. And third-party companies have stepped in to provide that, but everybody wants the first-party solution. And the Switch Lite has that. That's fantastic. I mean, that's a big selling point right there. I think people have been making their own D-pads to fit over the face buttons on the left Joy-Con. So people are going to see that, you know, at least fans of the Switch are going to see that and be like, oh man, I wish that my Switch had that. And Nintendo made a point today to say that there are no plans as of right now to make a left Joy-Con with a D-pad for the traditional Switch. So, you know, I think they kind of want to make that a selling point for the Switch Lite for at least the more hardcore consumers. They're not going to say that outright, but they want to be like, hey, look, it's got a D-pad. You like the D-pad, don't you? So, you know, I might be crazy, but that really woos me a bit. I just like the D-pad idea. I don't mind the face buttons on the Joy-Con now, but again, give me a choice. I'll go D-pad every time. So, the Switch Lite, is it a good idea? I say yes, it's a very good idea. Again, I'm not personally interested in it, but I think it's a smart move. Nintendo has shared, at least comment on the data that they got, saying that this is something that they think will do well with customers. And as I said in the beginning, some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it. The problem is, sometimes you get consumers who are like, I don't like this thing, therefore it is garbage. This doesn't have to appeal to you. This product can coexist with the Switch that is out there right now. So hopefully between the regular Switch and the Switch Lite, you will have at least one version of the Switch that caters to what you want. And if neither of those work for you, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you, but just remember that this product is reaching out to a very specific market. Nintendo thinks that market is there and waiting, and that's why they're doing it. So if it's not your thing, it doesn't have to be your thing. But the data's there. It seems like it's going to go well, and Nintendo's certainly giving it a hell of a chance because they're putting out a special Pokemon Sword and Shield version right off the bat. This sucker, I think, is going to sell like crazy this holiday season. Alongside the regular Switch and some of the other first-party titles that are coming out, yeah, I think this thing's going to do just fine. We've seen great success with other light redesigns for Nintendo's portables before, and I have no reason to believe why this one won't do fantastic as well, especially at that $200 price point. That is a big difference. So that's my hot take, as the internet says, on the Switch Lite. Hit the comments below. Let me know what your hot take is. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. It's very much appreciated. A huge thank you to our Patreon. I said this yesterday and I was stupid. For our patrons on Patreon, not our Patreons. That doesn't make any sense. Thank you to our patrons. Your patronage is very much appreciated. And that is today's video. I will be back tomorrow with something. So until then, have a lovely day and a lovely evening. And I'll see you in a few short hours.